Alrighty, Rude. Good shoot to you and all my note is not watching out there. But Rogue's Cake, though, I think it's an issue that needs to be discussed. She'll never be. We'll never be free of the trauma without discussing the issue, without confronting it. Yeah. I was so happy to leave with her hand in mine. I almost completely forgot about the drama earlier. So you guys just like started holding hands, like you hugged, and she's like, "You can let me go now," and you laughed, but then you just started holding hands, despite the fact that that's weird, because that doesn't. Okay, I mean, whatever, man. I guess the points add up, but that's just weird to me. That doesn't make sense. Like, if she started holding your hand, then you accept that. That's one. I guess that's what happened, but it's still weird that it just seems like an unusual choice. I really don't understand why she was with Ingrid in the first place. Again, I proposed my theory, and maybe I am right, but I think I went way too deep, and I doubt it's that deep. Or maybe it is, and they want you to dig and play the game multiple times so that you can get the story. I mean, I did have to physically leave. They forced me to leave instead of hearing what was going on between Jessica and Robert. Or if they were even supposed to be together at all. The two of them just seemed so wrong for each other, and all I wanted was for Day to be happy. And again, you keep referring to everything, all of this, as like it's a past event. And yes, it's all in the past, but like you don't have like is the twist gonna be that, oh well, I just came back for the summer, I like high school ended, we all graduated, blah 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 blah, went our separate ways, and then I came back and I'm only here for a little while or something. It's like the next summer, like I went to college somewhere else and we all drifted apart, or it just seems like that's going to be the case, because we've not seen anything for this character when they're like concerning changing their looks or why. And they do seem significantly older, and they're referring to everyone in not just the past tense because it's the past, but more like it's an over thing. Like the way you refer to people that are no longer in your life. Not necessarily, well, just like largely because they just aren't. She still might have killed him, though. I don't know. Fuck. I like how he has to have this chair where it like has to be smaller so he's even similar sized. Then we got the dino and he's like behind the bar, like ready to like mixologist up in here. And I don't know, I just feel like Taylor just makes me want to be like, Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas, oh, Dr. Zayas. And then you could just be like, for Robert, it's like, walk like a dinosaur, or I forget the song. And that's how I figured out claws and rope swings just don't mix. I'm sure that was a thrilling story that was just like, you're an idiot. But among the people here, you're probably pretty sturdy. We've been at Robert's place for an hour or so, and we still hadn't done any actual work. Just chilling. Okay, that's a pretty good story. Like, believe me, I could listen to stories about you falling on your face forever. She's like, actually, I probably could. That would be hilarious. But we're here for a reason. I've got lots, so... No. Look, If we're not gonna do the thing, we wouldn't have been here. We wouldn't have come. Now we seriously have to get to work, though. Right. Quote unquote work. Yes, thank you, Malcontent. You're doing a great job. Okay, I got it. So if we were to build a base on Mars, how would we do it? I don't know. Giant dome. You gotta get the things there. It'd be good if you could harvest natural resources, or at least take them from, like, you know, asteroids or stuff on the way there, so that you don't have to try to carry it with you, because it's hard to get out of the atmosphere with it. Maybe take stuff from the moon? You know? Once you do that, you gotta figure out a way to purify the... I mean, I never watched The Martian with, I think it was Matt Damon. Pretty sure it was Matt Damon. Or Mark Wahlberg. I mixed those two up. I don't know. But I don't know how to... I don't know. Like, it's not a simple thing. Oh god, it makes me more tired every time I hear it. Why are you just so mad because you're like, just the simple concept of it is like, just because them thinking about it is like, it just means they've given up on Earth, and like you're like a you know, you speak for the trees and all that. What? That's the assignment? How would we build a Mars base? It's like, you know, it's like 1977, right? Like, this bitch over here is wearing a fanny pack. We got a dinosaur here. I'm a Sasquatch, and you're a fairy that can't even really fly? Look at that radio! Like, what kind of nonsense is this? But the list of required elements: air filtration, food storage, maintenance, we are just given to us on the handout. Like, yeah, no, you have to have that, but it's like, it's not like the atmosphere on Mars is particularly hospitable, so you have to figure out a way to get air, which I think the way they thought the best way to do that was to find a place where they had water and then extract oxygen from that, because H2O, and then, you know, kind of mix that stuff around and then filtrate that consistently in small places. But then you also still kind of need water. Pure hydrogen you can use for fuel, but you need to have enough, whatever, yeah. So what are we even getting graded on? It actually does make a pretty good point. At this point, at first I was like, dude, it's kind of important, but he does make a valid point. Like, 3/4 of our group are cryptids. Not even positive if we can even friggin' leave this city without, like, huge problems or hiding our identity, which is a thing. Much less, the technology doesn't allow us to even go to, like, Mars. So, like, what, you know, what? The quality of magazine clippings? This is actually some of the more intelligent shit he's saying. We might as well just give the teacher the handout back and say, there you go, that's how we build it. Just follow his plan. We would just, no explanation, just step by step. Can we do that? That totally sounds like some shit that I would actually suggest in school. Like, let's just do that. It's like, we'll fail. It's like, it's not a logical assignment. I remember there's this one time I had this teacher, and they explained very clearly that there was like this grading system, and it's like, basically it broke down to, whoever got the top score would get 100, and then it would be graded on that, which wasn't that weird. But I had to ask. It's like, so, and we were allowed to work together if we were so inclined. And there were like 10, 20 questions or something, to try to make it sort of simple. Basically, like blah, like, if somebody gets every question right, that's 100. But if no one gets every question right, meaning they get like 9, that's still 100. That's the top. And I had to ask, like, so what if all of us just answer the same question correctly? You said we could work together. And you said whatever it's like, and he just smiled at me and was like, that's an excellent point. The real problem lies therein is, can you trust your other students to not screw you over? Because if everyone just answers one question, except for one person, even if they just answer another, the curve gets they mess up the curve. If they answer all of them and they're right, it's real bad for everyone else. It's like, no, the way you explain it is, it's a step. It's like, we would, if one person did that, we would all get like a 90. They would get 100. Still dick move, and it's like, yeah. But knowing that, now that you pointed out, more people answer more questions, and now the whole thing falls into disarray. And I sat there and tried to, like, convince the entire class to be like, look, I have one of the highest grades in this class, okay? I'm not the top grade here, but my GPA is up there. Everyone would benefit if we just get together and answer one question we could all be certain of and agree on. And turn it in. Be cool. But no, everybody wants to be like Squid Games, and we can't do that. So everyone had to actually do the thing, and they formed their own little groups, and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, now I'm going to fuck up your curve. Now I'm the problem, you fucking assholes. You're going to make me be the one that gets more answers right and makes it so that I get like 100 and the extra credit, and all you had to do was listen to me, and we all could have gotten 100. But no, because you guys can't be trusted, and you know who you are. It's like, I'm gonna work alone. Fuck y'all. I tried. It made me really sad. Good lesson though. Like, I still look up to that teacher. It's a good lesson. It's like, humanity. There's somebody out there like me that's going to be like, according to the rules, we can do this, and that would hack the system. It's like, yes. Acknowledged. But can you trust your other people? And it's like, you're welcome. You have until the end of the thing to do it. It's like trying to convince them and just seeing how people are like, nah. And it's like, I couldn't, get them to listen. So basically, I ended up becoming part of the problem, which sucks, because it's like, I was supposed to be the solution. All we had to do was answer one question, and we could have turned it in and been done in 15 minutes after that conversation, and then had basically, time to just socialize or whatever, sleep, anything. But no, everybody has to be like, because I want to be valedictorian. And that's actually, I knew the valedictorian. They were actually really sweet and really cool. I knew both of them. But because people, if it wasn't actually specifically them, I think I probably could have convinced them because they were my friends. It was the people who were in between that were like, I don't want everybody else to get 100, because if everybody else gets 100, that means my station goes, like, my value goes down. Like, because other people's go up. And it's like, you're an idiot. It's one fucking assignment. Just take the free 100 for everybody, call it a day, and be like, we got lucky this one time. It's really not, ultimately not going to make that big a difference. And that's one thing that I'm still bitter at. To this day. Probably told the story like 3 times on my channel. Anyway, moving on. No, we have to show that we at least made some effort. So use an X-Acto blade cut out from the pamphlet and put it on your little, what'd you call it, the board thingy. I think that's a cultural thing I'm not familiar with. The poster board and some pictures, like he said, and just say, just put like develop the technology to, and then put that there, and you know, I mean, there you go. Well, I gotta agree with Taylor. I hate that he's like kind of convinced me. I'm like, no, it is pretty dumb. Like, you guys, like, again, like, if I was thinking of it from this perspective of you know, 2024, where they're actually considering and trying to do this, and like, you know, even trying to consider, like, there's probably high schoolers now that are actually having to, this is a real assignment for them. But this is like the 70s. It's like, we got to the moon a couple times, which is sadly up for debate to some degree for various reasons. I'm not gonna stalk on that. It's just, it is what it is. I think weird things happen there. We're not going into it. Mars is a big jaunt from the moon. It's a lot more work to like. Also, we didn't like make colonies. We just sort of were like, put a flag in it. Haha, we did it first. Fuck you. But also, we did this for all of mankind, but mostly for America. Fuck yeah. But we don't actually own the fucking moon, yeah. We all made a pact that we probably won't actually honor. Eventually, somebody, possibly the Chinese, Russian, us, I don't know, Japanese. I think it's more likely to be us or the Chinese. They're just going to be like, nah, this is ours. What are you going to do about it? Come up here and fuck it? Fuck with it? Nah. Good luck. You have a hard time getting up here in the first place. We lost the technology and how to get there. With people. It all just got erased somehow. Please. Not you two. Why would you hope for Robert to not? I'm sorry, but we shouldn't go to Mars anyways. What? What? Just in case, you know? Honestly, I don't. Okay. I'll tell you. He's gonna be like, so, there was this thing that happened that killed most of my people. And it could happen here, so you gotta promise not to tell anyone. I'm still not sure about what I saw. Oh, wait, what? What's going... Oh, no, he's talking about something else. I don't see why not to promise. I'll promise. Thanks, Saul. Yeah, I can't make any promises. Well, thanks, Dave. That's very helpful. There's no reason to spread what... Like, look, whatever comes out of his mouth is probably not true anyway. Why would we tell other people what crazy bullshit he said? Yeah. Whatever, I'll tell you anyway. One night, when I was driving home from snowboarding, you always have stories. You're just like a constant storyteller. I appreciate it. It's just like... But does anybody take you seriously? I took a different route than I normally did. Wanted to see some new sights, you know? Well, I did. Believe me, I did. Okay, speed it up here, Robert. It's like, look, I still want to actually do this stupid project, even if it's stupid. Instead of just hearing you tell stories because that's what you like to do. I'm sorry, you can't rush a good story day. Yes, you can. It's just not as good, and it's really hard because it makes less sense and has less impact. And I am super guilty of this. Like freaking telling a story. I don't like that I identify with Robert as much as I do when it comes to this whole storytelling thing. It's like, boy, it's gonna take forever, isn't it? Anyways, there was a slight fog that night. The kind that sits low on the ground. See, that's a specific detail. I'd gotten a bit lost down some dirt road, so I stopped at the top of the hill to see if I could figure out where I was. And that's when I saw it. The main highway? An alien? I'm just gonna leave it at ... and let him tell the story. I don't know what it was, but I saw a big light with smaller lights spinning around it. They went clockwise, halfway around, then back again. It hovered there for a second. Then it did a sharp turn and was out of there. So you saw a UFO. I can't be sure. I don't want to say that it was a UFO because, like I said, I just don't know. So I'm now a human being hanging out with cryptids, and the Velociraptor doesn't want to be like, I saw a UFO, which recently they've been changed to like UAPs or some shit. And the government's actually, like, our government and other governments in other countries have acknowledged that such things exist. They've like declassified things and been like, yeah, no, these things exist, they do things. And people were like not all that into it. They were just like, okay, whatever. And it's like, really? It's like, okay. Right, but that's what a UFO is, an unidentified flying object. See, that's how this shows you that it's old. Even if it's like 2 years or something. I think it's like 2 years. Maybe 3 or 4. I don't know. I mean, technically anything could be an unidentified flying object. If you don't know what a boomerang is and it goes flying over you, you'd be like, what the fuck is that? Doesn't make it, you know, you wouldn't know what a boomerang is. Still could, you wouldn't be able to identify it. It would be flying, and it's an object. Now, if it has lights and travels faster than any known craft man is capable of, that we're aware of by any stretch of technology, and can like stop on a dime and then do 90-degree turns, and yeah, like the rules of physics don't seem, and inertia and stuff just don't seem to apply. Yeah. Okay, well that's also one. She's like, can we just do this fucking project? Hey, if you want to say I saw a UFO, fine. I'm gonna remain skeptical. Says the dinosaur wearing his baseball cap backwards. But that's what it means. Taylor's just like, that's what it means. Like, doesn't necessarily mean aliens, it just means you don't know what you saw. Another 2 hours went by, and magically we managed to put a few things on the Bristol board. And I was completely soaked in mustard. That's... okay. The sad thing is that my brain actually comes up, like, you know, like sometimes they'll do things where you'll, like, you know, time passes and they'll just like give the punchline and you don't get the joke. I know the joke. The joke here is they did exactly what they did in one of the Jackass movies, and I can't remember who it is, but one of the people really, I think it's Steve-O, just doesn't like mustard, and they like covered him in mustard, and he actually like all the maybe it wasn't Steve-O, but it was one of them, and just like the abuse that these people put themselves through and the stuff that they do to each other. And this was like, no, it wasn't Steve-O, it was one of the other guys, I think, but he was like, that, no, fuck you guys, like it was like really pissed off. He seems okay with it, but I think they're making a reference to that. I mean, it could be something else, but that's the first thing that pops to mind, that there was an like in Jackass, there's a person that does not like to be coated in mustard, and they did that because they knew he didn't like it. The good stuff too: Grey Poupon, Honey Dijon. Stop! Called it. Called it. No, like beer, like beer mustard. I know beer cheese, beer mustard. Stella, please. Oh, right. They just dropped the act. What act? Like you actually give a shit about this project? I think she gives a bigger shit than the rest of us. So by comparison, just by proximity, it's the most fucks given. You have like negative fucks given. Robert's got like maybe half of one, but maybe zero. I'm like one fuck or so. Like I don't know where the fuck scale goes, and she's got the most fucks given. If you did, you wouldn't let Robert tell his random stories. You wouldn't even be entertaining this conversation. Hey? Taylor, man, did you break her? At least they're like getting along, like, I mean, they're kind of fighting, but they're kind of like getting along like friends do when they're closer. You're right. This is just a perfect example of why Ladle High sucks. Remember that thing I told you, that story I told you about? How I got 3 fucking months of detention for one small action that didn't cause any real harm? It was just very not school spirity. And I also did kind of like prevent, you know, an authority figure from accessing their personal space office thing. Another reason why I'm just so done with this town. This game is just really largely depressing. I miss Mr. Masashi. It actually makes me miss like friggin' other games like the Quarry and shit, like, because they were more fun. This is just sort of sad. Like, look at everybody. They're just... Is the point to be like, even in an unrealistic world, it's a parody slash satire on reality and the pointlessness, futility, and, you know, stupidity of our educational system and our society? I didn't mean to. It's this one. She's like, you know, it's not even that big a deal. It's fine. Actually, it's okay that you called me out. I feel a little better. Honestly, it's really freeing. See, she's like, I feel better. Like, honestly, at least I don't have to put up the fucking thing. Like, who wants to drink? This project's bad. It's like, it doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, it is. See? I'm growing. It's so preschool. Okay, that doesn't make sense. But you're trying. I think that's fun. It's beneath us. It's alright, I guess. Honestly, you know, they did kind of convince me. I don't think it's fun. I think it doesn't make any sense when you put it into context. And it's not alright. It does actually seem kind of like busy work. It's sort of a waste of time. What could we possibly do? Like, this would be the sort of thing if you were to really take it seriously.